Hey everybody out there, Chris and Mike here, and welcome back to another Dark Avenger Comic Book review on time. Once again, the mail actually delivered the comics on time this week.
Yep.
But anyway, before we get into that, wee bit of news. Expect something to return on this channel within the next week, and no, it is not Comic Book Corner. That's already back. It's just really hard to read hardcover books or trade paperbacks while reading all the big two books as well as now all the indie books. So whenever there's extra time, I will be checking out some novels, and we'll be reporting back to you with reviews when we have the chance. Also, really quickly, comments have fixed up a little bit. If you have Google+. I am going to be addressing that comment issue, however. My answer to the comment issue was this returning video. Even though you can reply to comments again now if you have Google+, I'm still going with my idea, so that's why the video is coming up. Also, this week I was on Why I Love Comic Books, the podcast, so guys check that out. Also, the recap is back. I know Brett will be posting the newest episode soon, and lots of other stuff coming up soon. So, this week, we are discussing the books that were released on November 6th, 2013. For me, I don't know about you, but it felt like a very quick reading week.
Oh yeah, so I mean, there weren't any disappointments for me this week.
I wasn't disappointed, I just feel like I read through the books too fast. Like, I finished reading my books insanely early this week, from the big two.
Okay, so that's,
I've still got a ways to go with the indie books, but I feel like I read through them really fast.
Yeah. Well, some comic books, so you know, that's the way it is. I mean, in some ways.
I guess so. I don't know. Marvel's once again releasing more teasers, which take that for what it's worth. And Supergirl's rumored to be joining, or is going to be joining, the Red Lantern Corps, as per the February solicits.
Wow. Shut
up.
I'm not saying anything. I mean, rage.
That's what a lot of fans are probably feeling, rage. And lots of stuff. We actually discussed this on the recap, so if you guys want to see more news, check it out on the recap. So, we're starting with Marvel this week, and we are starting with Mighty Avengers issue number 3. The end of the first story arc. And after reading this, I'm very positive I will not be picking the series up anymore. 3 issues. It was an interesting story. I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea. I don't think this was a horrible story arc. I don't think this was horrible writing. I don't think this was a horrible anything. I just feel like the story fell under the average read for me, as well as I'm not really invested in any character in this except for Luke Cage. Luke Cage is the whole reason why I decided to even give Mighty Avengers a chance. And even though he's going to be the leader of the Mighty Avengers, I just didn't feel it. At the end of this book, I didn't feel pumped for the next story arc. I didn't feel like, you know, I need to continue reading it. Even the mystery of who the spider hero is, and by the way, we will get to that, doesn't, if you didn't see the spoiler or the whoopsie spoiler, I'm going to talk about it in a bit. If you didn't see it and you don't want to know, skip over it, but I just feel like this book has its cheesy moments that just don't, I don't know, I just don't feel this book. Simagora in it was awesome. It was awesome seeing him back. But it just, the Mighty Avengers make very quick work of Simagora, and then at the end of the book, Luke Cage makes a speech about how everybody's an Avenger. And Avengers are a group where, you know, one superhero can't take out or can't face a situation. He calls upon the Avengers or his teammates, and that's what makes the Avengers. And we all are Avengers. You're an Avenger, I'm an Avenger, and you get the epic pose at the end after the
that was cool.
Mighty Avengers beat the Simagora. You got Spider-Man, Luke Cage, Spectrum, who makes a very cheesy joke, Blue Marvel, Spider-Hero, who we're going to get to, White Tiger, and Power Man. Now, it was spoiled, and if you don't want to know the spoiler, fast forward through this a couple of seconds. I would say, to be safe, a minute, starting from now. Apparently, through mistake on Marvel's behalf, when they sent out the scripting for Mighty Avengers issue 1, it was written on the script who Spider-Hero was. And Spider-Hero is Blade. But Blade is not going to play Blade. He's not going to be Blade in the Mighty Avengers. Apparently, Blade is going to go under the alias of Ronin, just like Hawkeye did way back during the Dark Reign. So, basically, Blade is foregoing his real name, his regular name, and becoming the new Ronin. Thus, why you see Spider-Hero with the nunchucks and everything. That's going to be Blade. That doesn't save this series. I still don't feel invested enough. I don't feel like... I mean, I love Luke Cage, and I love reading books with Luke Cage in it. Don't quite love his team. I don't feel a connection with the team. I don't feel a connection with the book. I just feel like Mighty Avengers is going to be just like every other Mighty Avengers series. It's only going to make it so far, and then it's just going to end.
Pretty much.
That's just my feeling. So, Mighty Avengers issue 3, I leave it up to you guys. It was an average read. I didn't hate it, but again, not something I'll be picking up when the next issue comes out. And next is your book.
Yes, the explicit content of the Marvel Max Comics Fantomex Max issue number 2. This was a really interesting story, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Actually, this issue talks about a key.
Tentacles?
Well, there is an octopus that comes in, but it's Fantomex on a mission for a skeleton key, which is the most destructive device, and he talks more about it, and basically his mission is to find it. However, not only him, Agent Fleming, along with these guys, are looking for the skeleton key too, and they said, and I quote, "When he retrieves the key, and he will, I'll eliminate him." So they have a way of getting Fantomex in the whole picture. And there's lots of dialogue, well, not lots of dialogue, stories of Mr. Knowles, who makes a debut. And we get this picture where Fantomex is looking for the skeleton key. Artwork is pretty good. And meanwhile, one of Agent Fleming's teams is talking about a meteor thing that's supposed to happen in the far future. Basically, it's an impact that's supposed to destroy the Western Europe and everything else with tidal waves. And if you want to see an example of what I'm talking about, it's all said here. And they just want to do that.
Seems your book's going through the same problem mine are with the ink on the cover.
Comic gloves. She's not hearing me. But anyway,
it's only Marvel.
There does exist an 8th Master Key that they do talk about. And they punish Mr. Knowles to find out more information, I'm guessing. And Fantomex talks with a hologram about the device and everything else. And yeah, Mr. Knowles just gets punished, and so does Agent Fleming, because she did something wrong. And if you say one thing about this panel, I am going to... I was waiting. Because...
Boobs! That's some girl...
Yeah. Meanwhile, Fantomex...
How is it you always get stuck with the boobs in your books?
I don't know. Meanwhile, Fantomex...
I mean, there's a girl, that's a woman behind another one, and she has to have fun.
Well, girls just want to have fun, but besides...
No, that's wrong.
Fantomex has this...
He has
like, there's water...
playing boobsy with
Will you
each
stop
other.
now? There's water that's coming up again, and he's running out of breath,
right.
And he needs the thing to retrieve it, but in comes in the octopus.
Tentacles now.
And now with his lungs giving out, things don't look so well for Fantomex.
I see like 20,000 people buying the next issue just to find out what happened next.
Yeah. And also, guys, there is no origin in this story. However, I did hear that there's a Fantomex origin story in the Fantomex comic books, which I have been looking into, so just to know more about this character. But what? And I don't like that thing with the ink thing, jigger. But
boobs, you and your boob comic.
Pretty good issue, minus his reaction, never show him a reaction with booze because he'll just never forget it. He'll just never forget it. And it's not Gold Digger, so don't even think about it.
It's like Gold Digger.
Just go on with your...
Okay. If the Ultimates survive this, if the Ultimate U survives this, nothing can destroy them. Cataclysm, The Ultimate's Last Stand, issue number 1. I don't even want to spoil a piece of this book. I am, however, going to show one page. And this is why I say, if the Ultimate Universe survives this,
oh, wow.
If the Ultimate U's Earth survives this, Galactus from the 616, there is nothing in any dimension that can destroy the Ultimate Universe. I mean, you have the Ultimates that try to stop Galactus. Ultimate Spider-Man, you know, jumps in, but he doesn't fight Galactus. He's more along the lines of protecting the innocent. But, guys, if Galactus doesn't... If the Ultimate Universe somehow, by some way, survives this, I'm convinced that there is nothing and no one and any universe that can destroy the Marvel's Ultimate Universe. This book, Galactus, basically, you guys saw it in those few panels, and every single Ultimate, every single superhero in the Ultimate U try to stop Galactus, and to no avail. Galactus is still doing exactly what he does best, devouring the planet Earth.
That's what he always
Well, not
does.
the planet Earth, but devour. He's
like
the devourer
causing
of the
massive
planet.
destruction.
So, yeah, and I just don't see how the Ultimate Universe's Earth is going to come back from this. I mean, no hero has died yet, but this has been a wow, spectacular first issue. I mean, there's devastation from the first issue. This makes Ultimatum look like a cakewalk.
Yeah.
Like nothing, like Ultimatum was like just a breeze compared to this. Ultimatum was nothing compared to Cataclysm already, and this is just the first issue. It ties into Spider-Man, Ultimates, and X-Men, and then there's this series, which is Cataclysm. I'm going to be reading everything because I want to know how the Ultimate U is going to survive this, if anything. And again, it's your book next.
Yes. An X Factor member has his own comic book. Longshot Saves the Marvel Universe, issue number 1.
Of 1?
And well, I don't know. This is basically what happened after the X Factor team split up. So basically, this is the after effects of that comic issue. Ow. That hurt. Not really. So basically, it talks about this new villain who seeks people who are lucky, and apparently it's not the guy he was looking for. Meanwhile, Iron Man, or actually Tony Stark and Reed Richards, they're talking about a device that they're using, and they want to protect it. And if you want to read more about it, you should read the comic book. Here's some artwork of Longshot. And in general, it looks like an X Factor artwork. Like, it gives me that feel to it. But it's really good. Like, it's basically Longshot's seeing that there's lots of destruction going on with this new supervillain. Well, he doesn't know about the supervillain just yet. There's just lots of stuff. He meets up with this girl in the apartment, and I think they're going to be a great team with each other. And she has a father who is a scientist, and he's basically trying to figure out...
He looks like Albert Einstein with brown hair.
Yeah, and basically he's trying to produce a radiation for the cosmic rays that are about to happen that are useful for astronauts and all that other stuff. And it's just really like all over the place. And here we get a Longshot meeting the supervillain for the first time. And Reed Richards, things don't go well for him when the thing hit him, even for Iron Man. But Longshot touches a...
That's the Cosmic Cube.
Yeah, the Cosmic Cube. Yeah, I was going to say that. And in the end, let's just say the Cosmic Cube is not supposed to be used, and there are some people in here that are going to Longshot about the whole Cosmic Cube incident.
whoa.
What?
In 2 weeks.
Yeah.
There's another issue?
Yeah?
Oh, dear Lord.
What do you mean, oh dear Lord? What now?
I thought this was a one-shot.
No. This is not a long shot. This is not a one-shot. It's
It's a long shot.
Yeah. Really interesting comic book. I really liked it.
Maybe it was a 4-issue miniseries.
It might be. But it's really interesting. I mean, for those of you who have read X Factor, such as me, you'll definitely be picking this up and see the long shot adventure and see for yourselves what you think of the book. Let me know. And
It's caca.
what do you mean it's caca?
I don't know.
First boobs, then caca. What else is he gonna come up with? I'm waiting to get to the other books because I have 2 more. You got plenty more, so go ahead. Just go.
We won't even talk about the change then in one of them.
Go.
Amazing X-Men issue number 1. I went into this not expecting much, by the way. It is a open cover. Double-sided cover.
Ooh.
I went into this not expecting too much. I love Ed McGuinness's artwork, as you guys know. And I didn't expect to really be super invested. However, after reading this, I'm way more invested in this book than I originally thought. So basically, Firestar joins the X-Men staff, basically. She's one of the new teachers at the Jean Grey School of Higher Learning. And she wants, she comes into the school and, wait, I want to make sure I said her name right now. Yeah, Firestar.
Yeah.
And you get the scene, the funniest scene of Wolverine talking about having him with Storm.
Oh. So see, you talk about me with these books.
Apparently Storm and Wolverine are a couple and I didn't even know it. And Firestar...
You didn't know it?
Like, I knew it, but I didn't want to think about it. Firestar is meeting all the X-Men, all the teachers and everything. She sees Northstar, and Northstar's like, yeah, it's always like this, so buckle your chin strap, Red. And then she meets Beast, and Beast is cursing out, well, not cursing, but he's pissed off with the BAMs, and he's finally ready to address the BAMs. And it turns out the BAMs were making this. And I love, by the way, that Iceman went back to his more smooth kind of costume.
Yeah.
But anyway, they find out about the portal that the BAMs were making, and they don't know what it's for.
I was going to ask what it was for.
We don't know.
We don't know.
But evil BAMs, the red ones, which we all know who they're from, Azael, which is Nightcrawler's father. Which, by the way, at the beginning of the book, by the way, just to make mention, Nightcrawler is dead, but apparently the forces of heaven and hell, there's still a fight going on. But some of the X-Men get dragged into the portal. Where does the portal lead? I guess to the afterlife, because the book kind of ends right
so no
where...
time traveling?
No time traveling.
Thank God.
Either the afterlife or somewhere, but the forest looks familiar at the end of the book. But Wolverine, there's a reference to Nightcrawler at the end of the book, and Wolverine's like, Blue Elf? Exclamation.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was a fun first issue. I did leave out a bunch of stuff and probably made you guys super confused about the book, but I did it for reasons. You guys definitely should check out the Amazing X-Men issue number 1. It was awesome. I will definitely be back for the next issue. I wasn't really prepared to like this, and I really did. And especially since I just dropped Mighty Avengers, I definitely wouldn't drop 2 books that fast. And this book was really good. I love Ed McGuinness's artwork, and I think the story definitely has a lot of promise. Nightcrawler is coming back, and I know for a lot of people it didn't matter, but I think with Nightcrawler back, things might maybe fix up at some point.
How many times did Nightcrawler come back already in comic?
He only died once.
Really?
Yeah, around
I thought he died like
time.
3 times. Or
No.
Or maybe I'm confused about watching the animated series Wolverine and X-Men. That could be one of them.
Mm-hmm. And then before we take our break, let's go into a couple of DC comic books. First one being Green Lantern 25. Okay, Lights Out is over, and I want to know if it's just me, but Hal Jordan's personality and attitude, I'm starting to question. He's the leader of the Green Lantern Corps, and now his idea of the Green Lantern Corps is basically now, and even his own fellow Corps members question him. He's like, we need to police the ring bearers. If somebody's using a ring irresponsibly, we need to arrest that person and take their ring away. And now they're going to
change that because they have
and
the
Carol,
lights out. That's
yeah,
wrong.
and Carol, who's standing right there, and she's like, ahem, you know, I'm right here. Hi, I'm part of the Star Sapphires. Would you like to just take my ring now? Because eventually you're just going to end up turning on your friend. So, and Hal's trying to explain to him. He's like, no, you don't understand. I'd never take yours away. And she's like, you guys, you know, the green light of will isn't the only answer. Too many times it's been the wrong answer. And she warns us. So she says, I'm going to warn the Star Sapphires now that you guys that you're trying to conspire to be the police force of the light spectrum and the ring bearers. And if you come to us, we'll be ready. So things don't go so good for Hal. And I'm really questioning his leadership with the Green Lantern Corps. And I guess this is what's going to lead into him and John Stewart having it out at some point.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
But him and Kilowog do finally go after the woman that Hal was chasing before Lights Out began. And that was... oh God, why does her name release me? It completely... I completely lose it.
What?
Her name, the woman's name.
The one that was before Star Sapphire?
No, she is a Star Sapphire now.
Oh, I don't remember her name.
I don't remember her name either, but I know it was a very alien name. Oh, Noel Ange. How could I forget that of all names? So, it's Hal Jordan and Kilowog versus Noel Ange, and things look pretty good for Hal Jordan and Kilowog for a bit, but of course, you know, she gets pissed off that he brought one of his friends to a one-on-one fight, so she brings in a couple of hers, and let's just say the numbers definitely do outnumber Hal and Kilowog by the end of this issue.
Now, what I could say about this issue, there's a right and a wrong about this issue. Like, I know what the right's trying to do. They're trying to make Hal Jordan police the ring because after the Lights Out...
The rings, the cores.
Yeah. They want him to protect the rings, which he feels is right. But in a wrong way, they're changing his personality because that's not the way he
I don't care for how dumb he is.
No, I'm just saying, I'm just trying to point out there's a right and a wrong about this comic.
I don't like the way that he all of a sudden thinks he's the Grand Master of protecting everything, and he needs to, and the Green Lantern Corps needs to do this, this, and that. And I think that at first it's like, oh, cool, Hal Jordan's going to lead the Green Lantern Corps. You know, the Guardians are going to go away for a bit. We all hated the Guardians so much. The old Guardians are all dead. We have a chance to start fresh. But now, even I'm questioning Hal Jordan's skills as a effective head leader. And I have a feeling this is going to come back to bite the Green Lantern Corps in the ass if Hal Jordan remains.
Majorly, yeah.
I just don't like how stupid and redundant. And they called him all this in the book. They called him redundant, and not redundant. The word I was looking for was
like,
what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, I love this part where Cal's like, "Can you guess what finger I'm holding up?"
Oh, that was funny.
Oh man, I can't remember the word that was used, but basically...
he's just trying
the Green Lanterns were the ones that really screwed up a lot, and they're the ones that now feel Hal Jordan...
So Hal Jordan's being bossy, like, right?
No, I forgot what it is, where you say one thing, but you're actually doing the exact same thing. Contradictory. Thank you!
Yeah.
That Hal Jordan's a walking contradiction, basically. He thinks he has the right to police everybody and their uncle when it comes to the rings, but yet there's enough bad stuff that happened between him and the Green Lantern Corps that, it doesn't give them the right to be anything. I just don't like how stupid Hal Jordan is when it comes to this, and how really, I don't know. It's just hard to explain. I'm sure a lot of people. You guys, let me know in the comments below what you guys think of Hal Jordan. But I just don't like the way his personality and leadership skills are going in the Green Lantern books.
But they're, like I said, they're all right and wrong.
Will I be dropping Green Lantern? Absolutely not. I'm going to give this a chance. But I mean, if Hal Jordan's going to become one of those, where he's just going to police everything. But I think this leads into a very good story. There's a potential for a really good story, but if you're just going to keep Hal Jordan stupid and ignorant to everything and completely contradictory of everything, like he could do it but nobody else can, then I don't see this book being interesting for very much longer, because it kind of ruins the whole, feel of the book. Maybe it's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I just feel like if they're going to do that, they better just do it right. And before we go into... No, we got 2 minutes, so let's do that. Alright guys, we're going to go into our commercial break, and then we will be right back with the rest of DC Comics. We only covered 1 DC comic book, so stay tuned, and we will return after these messages with with our tongues untwisted. Hey everybody, and welcome back to this week's Dark Avenger Comic Book Review. The graphics changed, but that's because our camera decided to go our other camera. So we are knee deep in some DC Comics, so let's continue along with Swamp Thing issue 25. Swamp Thing versus the Cedar, the winner becoming the Avatar of the Red. There's lots of twists and turns. The fight goes one way, then it goes another way, then there's an epic turn, and you think it's going to end one way, and then you get that last page, and you're like, I definitely didn't see the last page coming until I actually got to the last page. And I'm not spoiling a thing. I will show you guys some artwork from the fight, but I will not spoil the actual ending of this book. It was really good, but I do know a few people did spoil it already on the internet. There are a few places you guys can go look. There's some artwork. A lot of people aren't too much of a fan of Swamp Thing. I'm enjoying Swamp Thing, and I know Mike Spider-Slayer is really enjoying Swamp Thing as well. Definitely one of the better of the 2 series right now between Swamp Thing and Animal Man. I'm enjoying Swamp Thing a little bit more. Animal Man did spike up a bit, but then now they're kind of, I feel, even.
So it's like a little...
No, they're even.
Well, like even, so like a balance scale then.
But this was a fun book. It was a really good fight, and I don't believe it's over just yet. But the conclusion to this issue leaves you at the edge of your seat, because now I'm at the edge of my seat, and I can't wait to see what exactly is going to happen in the next issue. That's how crazy it is.
That is crazy.
So definitely something to look into. Next, we have Earth 2, issue number 17, and the reveal in the last book was that Superman is still alive, and yeah, now he basically fights for Apocalypse. Also in this book, by the way, the S symbol is from the Man of Steel movie. I just would like you guys to know.
Oh, really?
That. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I have no S to reference you to.
No, like I remember the movie.
Yeah, so I can't reference you. But anyway, we find out the identity of who Red Tornado is, which I will not spoil until the next issue.
Oh boy.
But she was brought back to try to stop Superman. I will say that. Also, Batman is also in the base where Red Tornado is, and he wants to release something. What? You find out at the end of the issue. But Superman's back, and there's no kryptonite on Earth, but they do have Dr. Fate, which is magic. And Superman's like, I was waiting for you. I heard you talking. You think magic can stop me? Well, no more magic. And you just see him stomp on Dr. Fate, cracking his mask, and now Caleb is kind of in a shock, so to speak, and Green Lantern is completely missing. After the first page, he's disappeared, and we don't know where Green Lantern is. So that's another concern. But Flash and the Justice, or the soon-to-be Justice Society, I'm guessing. Well, Flash actually goes off to try to distract Superman so they can get Dr. Fate out of there. And
did you just say Justice Society?
Yeah, it is the Justice Society. It will become the Justice Society at one point or another. But we find out what Batman's plan is, and that's going to also lead into the next issue. There is a death of a certain character whom I am not going to say who it is yet. We'll discuss that at the next issue review. But basically, Batman wants to release some certain people, several people, to try to stop the Dark God, a.k.a. Superman. And I'm not going to spoil anything further than that. This was an awesome book, awesome art, great artwork, awesome story. I can't wait for the next issue. Unfortunately, though, it's hard for me to see Superman as the bad guy, and unfortunately, the mystery of who Batman is kind of was spoiled already.
Happen already in the past?
It did, but what I'm really upset about is they actually spoiled who Batman of Earth 2 is. And for those of you that don't know, it was in the solicits for DC that the Batman from Earth 2 is, and if you don't want to hear, you can once again fast forward. But Batman of Earth 2 is Thomas Wayne, Bruce's father. So for those of you that were huge fans of him in Flashpoint, well, guess what? He's back in Earth 2. How, why, and where and when, that's left to be, I guess, discussed in a future story arc or a future issue. But apparently Batman's back, and so is Superman, and quite possibly Wonder Woman. So nobody died in the first issue. And after that, now we are now in 0 year territory. 3 books for 0 year. I did not get Detective Comics, but I'm hearing nothing but good things from it. Michael over here I asked him if he'd be interested, and he said no.
Because you said you were going to buy it.
No, I didn't get it. Commissioner Gordon.
Oh, that one? That you said yourself it didn't look interesting.
Not a lot of people thought it was good. But this is Batwing issue 25. This is before Luke Cage became Batwing, of course, because this is 0 year. This is during the time where Luke Cage is a teenager, and he has a friend who's bullied by a bunch of people in his school, and things just continually get worse and worse, and Luke Cage actually gets into a fight with a bunch of gang members in the beginning of the book, and towards the end of the book, or the middle of the book, I should say, because here's the staples. Towards the middle of the book, the gang comes back, but in greater numbers. But Batman shows up to save Luke. But Luke doesn't just stand there. Hell no. He fights alongside Batman. And Batman takes some, what do you call it? Takes some, jeez, why is the word leaving my mind? Interest, or,
yeah, I was going to say something.
In Luke Cage. He sees Luke Cage in action, he's like,
So
he's kind of stunned.
So he's just checking his moves and stuff.
And basically the boy that was getting bullied had enough, and I guess Venom was involved here. Not Venom the supervillain, Venom the stuff that makes Bane super big, and he becomes this. And the rest of the book is Luke Cage trying to stop him, because he's kind of gone loco over the deep end. And, yeah, let's just say things don't look good for him. And then we jump into the present for one page, where it turns out that that friend is now back in Gotham. But the next issue is Roman Holiday, so Nightwing is, or Batwing, I call him Nightwing, I don't believe that. Batwing is actually going to Italy. So, this is a nice issue. It introduced a new supervillain, which will obviously be in the Batwing series really soon. It was a really good tie into 0 year, but at the same time, it was its own entity. So if you didn't read this, you'd still be fine with 0 year. And because you did read this, you don't have to read 0 year. If you're only reading Batwing, you're fine. It's a self-contained story, and it introduces, like I said, a new future villain to the Batwing series, which is awesome. And this person's actually coming back to get Luke Fox back for what happened at the end of this book. So really interesting. Can't wait to see this villain show up in the future issues. Definitely something to check out. Severely out of character, and I don't know, Superman Action Comics issue number 25 was another 0-year tie-in, and I agree, just like what they said in Superman Batman, without his parents, Superman he laughs at inappropriate moment. Like, instead of like let's start from the beginning and then we'll get to that point. But we get to see Lana Lang a little bit in the beginning of the book, and her and Clark are kind of on parallels with each other, even in the new story arc. There's 2 stories in this book, but the first one is her going out to discover the world and believing that there's things that she has to do in the world, and same thing with Clark. Jump further along. This took place back in the day, and then we jump a couple of years into the future where Clark is now Superman, but the jeans and shirt Superman, and there's a part where he's stopping a bunch of what are the words I'm looking for? They're
like little robotic.
No, supremacists.
Oh.
Supremacist, whatever. Anyway, and they're hurting a bunch of people, and the people run away scared, and he's like, the people I just freed ran away screaming. Pretty sure they're scared of me. I should reassure them. Smile, pat a kid on the head. That's a huge reference, by the way, to the pre-New 52 Superman. But, instead of that, he says, but I've got a warehouse to burn down. One of the little supreme masochists actually cried, and I can't help myself but laugh.
Wow.
Yeah, so
wow.
Instead of doing what the original Superman would do, the pre-New 52 Superman, where he's like, don't worry, I'm only here to help, pat a kid on the head, reassure them that he's here to help, he's not really the bad guy, he's here to save them. He just decides, hey, I'm just going to burn the rest of this warehouse down so these guys never do it again, and then laugh at them because they're punks. I don't know, but that's very anti-Superman in my opinion. That's very opposite Superman. But anyway, Storm comes to Gotham, and that's where Superman is at the moment. And Superman tries to stop the storm. Only he learns the hard way, you can't stop Mother Nature. I don't know what that was in the background.
Oh, that was probably the light. I'll go check.
But he tries to stop it. This was an awesome page with a whale. Superman tries to stop the hurricane. Things just don't work.
Yeah, it was a light.
And he gets mad because there's nothing he can do. And somewhere else in this storm is Lana Lang. And she's trying to pilot a ship to safety so that it doesn't crash into the docks. And once again, this is a side-by-side. Superman tries to save Lana or the ship, which I don't believe he knows Lana's on. I couldn't tell if he knew or not. But basically they share a lot of dialogue, and this has me worried that they're kind of pushing for a Clark-Lana thing after Superman Wonder Woman, because they're both sharing the exact same lines. Superman says never give up, Lana says never give up. Superman says never give in, and she's like never, never. And it's like they're attuned to each other.
Well, it kind of has a Smallville thing also, where Clark and Lana were, that way. So maybe it's given like a little bit of a Smallville, almost.
So in the end, basically, Superman couldn't stop the storm. Instead, he just saved a bunch of people, and I'm not going to give away the ending. Then we get Lunch Break, which is a lead into, and it says right here, present day, so it's today, and the artwork pays a little bit of homage to early 2000. I remember this artwork, and I wasn't too much of a fan of it, and I'm hoping that this isn't the artwork we're going to see in the next story arc.
Oh, ew.
Because I remember this artwork from the early 2000s, and I wasn't a fan, but again, present day Superman, he's feeling these earthquakes or something in the ground, and Lana Lang is working with these construction guys that are underground, and they release something. And the next issue is Suburban Monster or Suburb Monster. Did I say it right? Subterra Monster. And yeah, things are not looking too good for Lana Lang, but there was a lot of Lana in here. I have a feeling that's leading into a present-day Action Comics thing between Clark and Lana. So, I don't know. I felt like Superman was severely out of character, but at the same time, this is the New 52, so he was in character for the New 52, but out of character for those of us that know Superman for years and years and years. So, this was a good tie-in. If you're reading Superman, obviously you're going to want to read this. If you're not, you won't. Once again, this is not going to impact Zero Year at all. These are just little tie-ins, I guess, that DC is doing to show you where all the other superheroes were during this exact time in Batman. And as a matter of fact, Mike has a Zero Year book.
Yep, Zero Year of Green Arrow, issue number 25. Lots of great points were made in this comic book, and you know, it's not you know, there's not one Green Arrow comic book that really disappointed me. I mean, it's really just amazing where Emerson is actually caring of Oliver Queen. And remember how I said that Emerson was so... He's actually very caring, and I'm like...
Maybe it's just
wow.
when he first came back.
Well, yeah, because they thought that he was dead because, you know, and all that. So Emerson is talking about Oliver Queen's mother being kidnapped, and he's so mad about saying, like, where is she? You know, why isn't anyone doing something about this? And basically, he just wants to know more about her. Where she's in this, the artwork is phenomenal. I will say that. And basically, Diggle is in this with her mother, and or his mother actually. And there's this new guy who appears in the Green Arrow comic book, which looks like he's going to be a new villain, so to say.
Or a villain from the past that we'll see.
Or
in the
maybe a
present
villain
at some
from the
point.
past, yeah. And meanwhile, he's just, you know, fighting just to get her back. Like, he's trying to come up with a name, like, he likes Morts, so to say. And he's just fighting. We do get Batman, who comes in this issue.
Of course, it's Batman Zero Year. You know, Batman guest starred in every book except Action Comics, which really didn't show Batman at all.
Yeah, and he fights with this Morth guy, and I love this picture of Green Arrow. When he appears, him and Batman fight alongside and help each other out. And the mother goes with him to team up with him, and she does know that he's Oliver Queen. So I thought that was a very touching moment. But in the next issue, there's going to be the secrets of the island that's revealed in the first part of the Outsiders War. And there's like a second story arc where...
I think it leads into the Outsiders War.
Yeah. This is where I think he's... Diggle and Oliver Queen are together. I think it's Diggle. Yeah, Diggle, yeah. And I like this story about how they're teaming up with each other, working side by side. Like, I thought that was really interesting. And there's a new partner, Roy Harper.
That's Roy Harper's Red Arrow, or Speedy from the Red and the Outlaws. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna actually join Oliver Queen and Diggle. And Diggle's plan to retake Seattle begins next month, also in the Outsiders War. So there's probably going to be a two-story thing. I was just asking you in case...
yeah, Roy Harper is Speedy. In the pre-New 52, he was Red Arrow also, but...
Yeah. But this was really interesting. This is, however, my book of the week. Because it's just phenomenally awesome. I can't wait to see this whole Outsiders War and... the whole island thing that hasn't been revealed. I thought everything was revealed, but guess not. It remains a mystery until next issue.
Next two books are also Superman books. We have Batman Superman issue number 5. Now, I'm holding it like this, but the book actually reads like this.
Okay.
This is a special, specially printed
vertical
book.
Annoying.
Oh yeah. The entire book's like that.
Oh
You
my
have to
God.
read it like this.
Why did they do that?
We see the return of Toy Master, aka Hero, or Hyro, however you pronounce his name.
Where is it?
Hyro?
Yeah,
Hyro. As well as we see the return of Mongol.
Oh man.
Now, Hyro he's the Toy Master. So his people created, this woman created a new type of video game where you go in and the goal is to kill Batman. That's what we get towards the middle of the book. And there's some banter. See, this is again why I'm really not a fan of the New 52. Batman and Superman, even though they're friends, they're like frenemies. They have their moments where they kind of bicker between each other. And, I don't know.
Lots of personality changes this
But
week.
the hero starts the game. He becomes Nightwing. Now, this isn't the real Nightwing. The program creates Nightwing. And what he finds out, and the rest of the people he's playing with find out, is that the game actually doesn't. It's not just a game. It reaches out into reality. And at this exact same point in time, Mongol shows up, and we don't know if he's part of the game or part of the, or if he's the reason why the game happened. We're not too sure. But, yeah, things don't look good by the end of this issue. It was a bit of a pain in the butt to read it sideways. I do hope the next issue... Yeah, exactly. I do hope the next issue reads the right way, not this way, because it gets annoying having to read this way sometimes. I like reading my...
It's like going like this, so we can actually read like this, and then, there we go. That's
Exactly.
because we're used to it. I'm just saying as
Exactly.
a fact.
But it was nice to see Hero again, and especially because it's in a Batman-Superman book, because we were introduced to him in Superman-Batman pre-New 52. And it'll be interesting to see where they go with this book. There's obviously something going on between Superman and Batman, but Batman still considers Superman his best friend, but at the same time, he gets to him. That's exactly what Batman says. He still finds a way to get to me. And Superman says, my dad says, always do it. I'm like, no, your dad doesn't. Your dad would be kicking your you-know-what from here to holy hell if he was still alive.
Or the Krypton.
And may the DC gods have mercy on Superman if they ever bring the Kents back. They'll whip that boy. They're going to whip him bad. But I leave it up to you. But it's the artwork in the book definitely improved a lot with Brett Booth. Next we have Superman Unchained, issue number 4. Lex Luthor. There's 3 stories going on here. Lex Luthor with Jimmy, Superman and Wraith, and Lois Lane with the Crystal, the man that sent for her. Lex Luthor is in his own little dream world, or his own little world, and he's kidnapped Jimmy because he's going to use Jimmy to, spoiler alert here, kill Superman. Superman and Wraith are fighting against the Russian armies, who basically have weapons that produce red solar radiation, which weaken Superman and then hurt him. So Superman's in pretty bad shape by the end of this book. Lois Lane finds out about the crystal, and that the crystal needs to be hidden, and that Superman will mistake it for something that's his, but it's not. And she's like, why are you giving it to me and not Superman? And he's like, because he won't be alive much longer. And we don't understand what that reference means, but I have a feeling the artwork, Jim Lee's artwork, as always, is spectacular. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens between him and Wraith. He even makes reference to what Wraith said at the end of the last series. Like, and Wraith's like, I could teach you so many things about your powers. So many wondrous, terrible, and then Superman cuts him off and goes, you mean if you don't kill me first? He's like, you saw for yourself today. You see what kind of enemies you make standing alone. One day you'll cross the line and they'll send me after you, and I'll do my duty. There's so much I can teach you about who you are, about what you'll become in time, bathing in the powers of the sun. And he's like, the only question I have is, where are you from? And That's where it's left off. We still don't know where Wraith is from. But Superman, as Clark Kent gets a call from Perry, who says that Lois is in trouble. And, yeah, she's in a lot of trouble. We get a 2-page epilogue where she's actually facing the,
Which one?
I'm trying to get the name of it. It was at the beginning of the book. But they're the ones that are controlling the machines from the Russian army as well. I'll get the name eventually.
Unless they could find
No, I'll find it. Here we go. The Ascension.
Oh.
Ascension of the people, the group that's controlling the Russian army stuff. And Ascension also is going after Lois Lane because, spoiler alert, Ascension was created by her father.
We didn't see that coming.
I saw that coming a mile away.
I know. That's what I was saying.
I truly don't know what to say about Sam Lane sometimes, and I just move.
Very good.
It's okay, I have extra covers anyway, but good book. Story did move forward at a really good pace. Really fast pace. Looking forward to the next issue. Can't wait to see where Wraith's from. He is the biggest mystery in all the super books right now. And I'm just curious to find out where Wraith's from. But that was Superman Unchained. Really highly recommend you guys check out Superman Unchained. It's a spectacular series. And next is your final book of the week.
Yes, Forever Evil Trinity of Sin, the Fam Stranger issue number 13. Fam Stranger going after the Question, after the whole thing that happened. And it came out actually, I think a week after the last issue. Like, it came out pretty fast. And we get to the part where he's in the house that's burning, and
he meets Blight.
Yeah. Well, first he meets with the Sin Eater, with the dog.
Oh, that's a Sin Eater?
Yeah, that's a Sin Eater.
Not, I thought that was Blight.
No. That's in the end. We're gonna get to that though. So basically, he's just saying like, you know, like he thinks his memory's erased, like not remembering his family he was with, and he's like saying, you know, you're the one that tortured and murdered them and everything, and you know, like you weren't that good of a model for them because he took his place after that. And there's just a whole big thing where he talks about like him and Angel Zorel look like that they're okay sort of with each other after he erased his memory. So yeah, they have a big talk with each other, and there's like a whole big thing where he's at the graveyard and all that stuff. This is like a whole big thing. I mean, you could read about it if you want. And there is a Dr. Light reference, like remember in Trinity War where he gave him that little thing to give to his family, that light?
Mm-hmm.
He actually failed to do that, but then he actually did do that for his family, and you get a little Dr. Light moment. Artwork is really fantastic, the artwork. And yeah, I thought that was really good. And then in comes in the Question.
And the rest of the book looks like it's going to be a fight.
Yeah, it's a fight between him and the Question, and you know, he's just saying, he just keeps questioning, like every sentence is always a question. That's why he is the Question. And yeah, just like I said, a whole big fight scene, and he's just said, you know, enough's enough, you know, with all this, and he just gets this for that, and you can read what all that's about. That thing belonged to its rightful master, because obviously the Question took it. The ending is what really got me, like saying, I sort of knew this was going to happen in the end. Spoiler, in the end, Fam Stranger meets up with Pandora, John Constantine, Swamp Thing, and the rest of the people who are going to be...
And it's
oh, and Nightmare Nurse.
Fam Stranger and
the Question, yeah. And Nightmare Nurse is there too, because the next first part of the Forever Evil Blight crossover will be in Justice League Dark issue number 24. So, It was almost book of the week.
It leads to Blight. It basically leads into Blight.
It was almost book of the week. I mean, not that the cover was misleading or anything, because it's sort of...
It's not. Because that's exactly where they left it.
Right.
Sort of.
But it was like the whole thing was... But it was a great issue, though. And I would definitely recommend you check out Fam Stranger and even the soon-to-be Forever Evil Blight, which I will be covering in my in-depth comic book reviews. And see where it goes from there.
Alright, really quick, guys, before we get into the last book of the week, we're going to just switch out because that was the timer. So give us 1 second, one click of the button, then we will continue. So 1 sec, and we're back. So now we'll talk about the last book, which Mike and I both read, and that is Forever Evil, issue 3 of 7.
Oh my
lots
God.
and lots and lots of things happen in this book.
And lots of tie-ins.
Now, I will definitely say, if you are not reading the tie-ins between Rogue's Rebellion, Arkham War was not mentioned in here, and neither was
Argus?
No, Argus was not either.
Yeah.
But things that were mentioned in this book were things that happened in Justice League, issue number 24, and Rogue's Rebellion, issue 1.
Right, because they both tie in with each other. That's how...
And lots of references to the one-shots from Forever Evil. So, we get a little bit more into how the Justice League was trapped and sent into the prison, and how Batman and Catwoman, along with Cyborg, escaped. Also, Batman finds out about Dick Grayson's identity.
Richard Grayson.
His name is Dick Grayson.
Well, said there.
How Nightwing's identity was revealed to the world, and now basically Batman wants to go save his partner, the boy he helped raise. While Lex Luthor is trying to put his own team of people together to fight against the crime syndicate. The fight that we saw in Justice League 24 between Black Adam and Ultraman ends, or at least round 1, or this fight between them ends in this book. And things don't look too good for Black Adam. However, Ultraman is losing power, so now he needs more kryptonite. We then jump into the connection to Rogue's Rebellion, where the Rogues are facing off against Deathstorm and Power Ring. And spoiler alert, I think this entire book's going to be a spoiler alert, because then we're going to talk about it after we're done talking about the book. Deathstorm reaches into Captain Cold's DNA and separates his DNA from the ice gun, so basically Captain Cold no longer has the ability to produce ice with his hands or his body.
Yeah, and even what Power Ring did with that whole portal thing was really, like, wow. Like when he tried jumping.
Yeah, so the Rogues escape, but Captain Cold somehow gets left behind, but he comes face to face with Lex Luthor, who actually also meets up with Black Manta. And basically, Lex Luthor, in so many words, says, "Together we're going to stop the crime syndicate." And you get an epic final page, and it says the next issue, Batman versus Lex Luthor.
Unless Batman knows that they're on the same page of...
I don't know. But basically, in this issue, we find out that Captain Cold no longer has his powers. He has to use his freeze gun again. Lex Luthor is bringing a team. Well, we all knew Lex Luthor was going to bring a team together to stop the crime syndicate.
Yeah.
And we also got to see the ending to the fight between Black Adam and Ultraman. So I guess the next issue of Justice League with Justice League 25, it's going to go into a completely separate direction.
Yeah, so it's...
That, or they're going to have Ultraman find Metallo, because that's who he's looking for.
Yeah, because he has a kryptonite, and that's what he needs.
All in all, I thought this was a really good issue. Not something super spectacular, but really good. Jeff Johns is really doing a good job.
I thought it was a great issue, too, actually.
I thought it was a good issue. A little bit above average. Not something that's spectacular, but definitely something that's good. Really,
I mean,
really good.
just lots of epic fight scenes between Rogue's Rebellion with Power Ring and Ultraman with Black Adam.
But again, it kind of feels a little bit like Infinity, where if you didn't read Justice League 24, you kind of would have been like, why is Ultraman fighting Black Adam? And if you didn't read Rogue's Rebellion, you kind of were probably left a little in the dark with why Deathstorm is they were powering, but I will admit, at least in Forever Evil issue 2, if you remember the meeting they had, they made reference to Deathstorm and powering going to Central City to meet them, and Ultraman also mentioned wanting to meet up with Black Adam. So technically, you really didn't have to read the books, but at the same time, if you want to see how they got from point A to point B,
and why,
yeah, you would have to have read Rogues Rebellion 1 and Justice League 24. And if you want to know about the prison, that's in Justice League of America, and Justice League Dark, like I said, they're going in their own direction.
But sooner or later, they're going to have to, well, not have to, they'll probably refer to the Arcus story.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
And the others.
Same exact thing with Arkham War. They're going to make mention of that sooner or later.
Arkham War, yeah, that was the other one.
But this was an excellent book. Highly recommend you guys check out Forever Evil. It is the follow-up to the Trinity War, and this is the first event or big event that's come out of DC Comics in the past 2 years, and it's going spectacular so far. So I would definitely say check out Forever Evil issue number 3. And with that, we are done with this week's Dark Avenger Comic Book review.
So, see you later.
Mike will go behind the camera, and we will round out the rest of this week and then give you a closing argument. So anyway, Forever Evil number 3, definitely something you guys should be checking out. Phantom Stranger 13.
Almost book of the week, but awesome issue to read.
Superman Unchained issue 4 was another spectacular read, definitely something to check out. Awesome artwork, awesome story. Brett Booth takes over as the artist for Batman Superman issue 5. Once again, not a fan of reading the book like this, but at the same time it was pretty good, and Hero is now back. Green Arrow issue 25.
Book of the week, fantastic issue. I can't wait to see what's more to reveal on the island.
Action Comics 25. Superman's a bit out of character here, but it was still a good book, and it gives you a prequel to the next story arc in Superman. I just hope the artist is not the artist in the next story arc in Action, because I'm not a fan of his artwork. Batwing 25 was really good. Introduced a new supervillain in the that's going to probably show up in future Batwing story arcs. Earth 217 was spectacular, something to check out. Swamp Thing 25 was really good. Green Lantern 25, I don't know if I like the direction where they're bringing Hal Jordan, where Rob Venditti is bringing Hal Jordan, but I'm willing to stick around and check it out. Amazing X-Men issue 1, spectacular, definitely something to check out. Longshot saves the Marvel Universe, issue 1 of probably 4.
A great story of an X Factor member, well, before they went out of business, but yeah, I would say definitely check it out.
Cataclysm's Ultimate's Last Stand, issue 1. If the Ultimate Universe survives this, nothing can destroy the Ultimate Universe. Spectacular first issue. Fantomex Max, issue number 2.
Pretty good issue. Looking forward to the next one.
And Mighty Avengers issue 3, very cheesy, but at the same time, it's an average book, maybe a tiny bit below average book, and I'm pretty much done with the series. I'm just not, it just doesn't speak to me enough to say, hey, I want to get issue 4. Also, guys, don't forget to check out comicrelated.com, your #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. Don't forget to check out Dark Avenger Inc., our group channel, where we give you guys as many reviews and videos and whatnot each and every week. If you enjoyed this review and previous reviews I've done, and you haven't already, there's a sub button somewhere around this video. Click it. This way I'm in your sub box and you don't miss out on a single review or a single video. If you haven't subscribed to Dark Avenger Inc., we give you guys tons of content each and every week, and we love your feedback. I love your feedback. First and foremost, if you haven't subscribed to Dark Avenger Inc., definitely do subscribe there. But guys, in the comments, and this is kind of important, trust me, this has something to do with a returning series. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this week's books. And if I did not review a book that you read, let me know in the big 2. And the reason I say a book I did not review in the big 2 is because we have the indie reviews now, which comes out at the end of the week, and we cover a ton of indie books. So when I say any books that you read that I didn't read, I mean within the big 2, not indies. We'll talk about the indies when the indies come out. Let me know in the comments below. Do you agree with my opinion? Do you disagree? What you thought about Forever Evil, Phantom Stranger, Superman Unchained, Batman Superman, Amazing X-Men, anything. Let us know in the comments below your thoughts. questions, comments, things you want our opinion on, let us know. And once again, hint, hint, this has something to do with a returning video series on this channel. So let your comments be written, so this way you'll understand in the next video that's going to go up after the indie review probably, why I'm really pushing for you guys to comment on the video. I'm going to be doing a bit of a, I'm not going to give away what it is, but let's just say comments. Leave comments in the comments below, and you might be hearing back through the video your comments. And that's all I'm going to say. And with that, guys, that's it for this review. Take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and I will see you guys in the next review. Take care, everybody.
Later,
Have a great week.
Later, guys.